Are back after a quick technical glitch. Sorry, Louis, you were casting Identify on this object that he's left with you. It is, as the incantation completes, and the secrets of this device are revealed to you. It is strange. It's not something you've exactly seen before, but it's something like a combination of it's something like a combination of a ward, or a stored sigil, like a stored spell, combined with some sort of detection magic. It seems like it is created to trigger when it gets near someone or something.
Bro, it's a bomb.
And that something, give me just a second here.
But you can't tell what it will trigger.
Yeah, I guess there's nothing, like, nothing would be hidden from him when he casts Identify on it. So, give me a second here. I'm just reading up something. Yes. It is set to trigger a stored message spell. The target of which is uncertain. The message is some sort of coordinates to the device itself, its location. When it comes in proximity of a devil or fiend.
Wow, so this kind of tells us more.
Wait, so this amulet will trigger a magic GPS pulse, basically.
Yeah. It'll send its location to someone whom you don't know. So thus it's hard to tell who it's keyed to send to. But it will basically ping its location when it comes within proximity, 30 feet or less of a devil or fiend.
Guess
That's
you'll find
interesting.
Of any devil or fiend, or a specific?
Of any.
That's interesting.
I mean, is that what Hammond is? Apparently
Maybe that's what they're trying to find out.
Yeah, that is the theory being tested.
I mean, it's like he said, it is a safe way of doing it.
So, okay, Poker, if that does its thing, and let's say it functions like it should, is that more for us to be notified and report, or is that something that would be instantly reported to the party that's making us go?
I think it'd be reported to them. We were just asked to go and get it as close to him as possible.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not entirely certain. Like, I guess I can just make it up because I make the rules. I don't know, but like, RF, tell me if you don't feel like, if you're not comfortable with me keeping some of it from you. But basically, the way I'm seeing it is, if you don't know the person the message spell is keyed to send to, it would be hard for you to tell that from your inspection of this magical device.
Oh, for sure.
Like if you like, let's say if the target was this guy you were just talking to, I'd say you'd know right away that it's set to message him. But in this case, you've never met the person it's set to go to, so it is set to go to somebody, but you don't know them.
It's a random person's phone number.
Yeah, exactly. It's like seeing a phone number you don't recognize.
And then I guess my last question about it is, do I think that there would be any audible indicator that it went off?
No.
For people in proximity.
It starts playing red alert. However,
No, you do not.
Dresden
However,
did say keep it hidden.
you believe that if you, I think with your knowledge of the arcane, if you had the detect magic spell going at the time, you would likely notice it trigger. But there is, as far as you can tell, there's no part of its magical build that involves any sort of visual or audio effect that's meant to be completely silent.
I will relay that to everyone.
There is also no sort of cloaking magic or anything on it, right? Like it is very definitely, you were able to see with a very simple spell that it was a magical device, and you were able to tell with another very simple spell what it was. So it is definitely something you want to keep hidden.
I have no issue bugging this man's room if the payout is worth it. It's not malicious. We're not being asked to harm him or extort, or otherwise harm. I don't care for either party, but if there's something that we can gain from it.
I put it back in the bag as soon as I was done looking at it.
Are devils and fiends common?
I do not know very many at all.
I don't believe I've ever seen one.
I don't think they exactly want to be found, you know? I don't think they have the best reputation.
And it seems as though if Hammond Sam is a devil or fiend, he is trying to hide it. So my concern would be, it is possible that he would know that this is triggered and would know that we are reporting back to somebody else about something.
We could ask him. Lunali with the blunt questions.
That might put him on edge, which could make things more dangerous.
Or he could just lie or not answer as well.
I don't know, I've got a pretty high perception. Lunali will say that it's up to you guys. It's whatever you want to do, but we should decide on an asking price.
Let's ask the greedy man himself.
Well, there's a few things that we need in the city. There's reasons why we're here. We need some information.
What are we looking for information?
Well, we're looking for that one wizardy dude.
Keldor Maloro.
Right.
Noro's looking for his brother.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here to find the people that are like me. And we're also investigating the vision that Deebs has had, and the story that that one elemental told me about the fires and possibly the fire elementals being involved.
We'd probably know more if we tried to play both sides.
Speaking of elementals and the elements, Lunalia, are you still wearing the hat of disguise and appear as a Wild elf? Wood elf?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
It'd also be nice to know a little bit more about, you know, our potential threat looming to the south of with Nascendris.
Do you believe that this guy knows anything about any of those things?
Not this guy in particular, but maybe one of his employers has information on anything about her.
I think he might be able to tell me about my people and their disappearances in town. Somebody with that kind of power is going to know things.
So it seems like we just either want a bunch of information from on various things. I don't think there's any monetary things we want, do we?
Well, either way, it sounds like if we say no, there's a fight.
Come on, you guys. Why you gotta play me like that? It's because there's a battle map and a bunch of dudes doesn't mean it's gonna be a fight.
Have you met you?
Every day.
Oh, I'm peeking out the window, Poker, if you saw me walk my way to the window.
Amazing.
Yeah, we did.
Just, just trying to see what they're doing, making sure, like...
Do they have their ears pressed to the door?
Right, like they're pressing their ear on the door, or are they, like, bored waiting?
You walk over to the window and peering through the layer of pipe smoke and just general tavern scunge that's deposited itself on the window interior. You make out the form of a couple of the thugs just sort of standing around nervously chatting. One of them turns and sees you and just about knocks his friend over. And you hear him go yelling at Dresden. Boss! Big man's in the window! Dresden peeks in through the doorway. Have you come to a decision?
Taking
No.
a break. Wanted to make sure you were still here.
Half up front, half on completion, if that helps you decide on a price. And then he shuts the door.
Oh.
Noro slowly walks back to his friends.
Half up front, half upon completion.
Yeah, they would have heard him.
Oh, okay.
Thanks, Noro.
Scribble, is there anything that you would want to ask for?
Yeah, let's ask Sticky Fingers over here.
Nothing I think that they would stand up for. Do you want to be friends with Silas?
Not exactly. Don't even really know the person. But that doesn't exactly mean I want to make an enemy of him either.
This person we're supposed to look for, or at least that was recommended, in Dralamar from, I forgot the gentleman's name in Phandalin.
Paramon?
Yes, from Paramount. He said he would be of use. Would it be possible to meet with him first before we make a decision here? Maybe he can give us a better insight of what's been going on in Dralamar, maybe, as well, before we make a decision. I don't even know if it's possible because they're out there waiting for us.
Yeah, you get the strong feeling that Dresden wants an answer before you part ways today.
So if he's offering anything we want, I say we each ask for 2 things. And walk away with one of them.
Lunalia, I neglected to fill you in on the insight check you made. Dresden seems like a fairly straightforward person. He is somewhat guarded when he speaks, but you feel like at least part of that is he is not given much more information than he's relaying to you. He's simply
Right.
a middleman for this exchange. At the same time, you would have also gotten a sense from him that he was being honest when he said the thugs that he brought with him are insurance. They're protection. They're not here to kill you if you say no. They're here to keep you from killing him if you decide you don't like him. He's managed to keep cool, but based on the reaction that Noro got out of these guys, you and probably others in the party as well, lower passive insights, get the feeling that these guys know a little about you, or have heard of you, or have been told about you, or something. They're a little scared of you. He's not, but the rest of the guys are a little worried about getting in a tussle with you. Unless they've got something bigger and badder waiting in the wings, you don't think you're looking at a fight if you say no.
Can we send Pierre to give them our answer?
I can go.
Or Lunalia will. We can ask for more time.
What is our answer?
Well, I think we're leaning towards doing it.
Yeah, we should.
But do we want to find Paramon's friend in the city first and get his read on the situation?
Right, like say yes, but make our way.
I wouldn't even say yes. I would say we need more time.
Well, here's the thing: we don't exactly have a way of contacting Hammond. So if we do this, it wouldn't just be an instant thing, because we would have to either find him, find something he's interested in, and then set up a meeting, which would take a while. And
Yeah, but weren't we
I'm
just
sure if
told
we
in
were-
the conversation that he'd be contacting us shortly anyway?
that's what Scribble said, is that Hammond will contact Scribble.
No, that's what Dresden said. He said that
If I could
he
find
would
you,
contact the party.
Yeah, if I knew of your arrival within less than a day, then I'm certain that he does as well. And if he has need for you, he will call for you sooner as opposed to later.
Right. So it's not going to be an immediate thing. It's just going to be in the near future kind of thing.
Yeah,
Basically-
probably by the end of the day.
Yes. So we do have time.
You do have time. I mean, if you guys wanted to call him back in and have a quick chat, you could.
Well, no matter what, whether we want to do it or not, we can take half the money and the amulet. Right.
That's what I we could.
Yeah. We each ask for 2 things. The first thing now, then the second thing after. Depending on what it is we ask, we might only get 1. Maybe we'll get 2.
I don't think we come up with a list of 10 demands.
I don't think they're going to want to give us that many things. I think it'll be like, here's one thing.
I said name your price.
I think he meant collectively.
What if one of the demands we make is to, and I don't know how much of this is possible, but I'm just gonna say it. Why won't they use Phandalin's mining excavation site, our mine that we own? as their main source of material.
Do what?
Oh, I see what you're trying to ask.
Since we profit off the mine and we want to grow Phandalin, get them to use our mine as like the main supplier for the city.
Well, our mine's not producing anything yet.
Well, that was the other thing. That's why I wasn't sure if that would be a good call or not either, because I don't know what's even happening yet inside our mine.
And I think the city sent Ham and Sam to try to take the mine, or to be part owner in it.
Yeah, to cut the deal.
But isn't Hammond Sam? He's a noble in Dralamar, but also the master of coin in Phandalin.
No, master of coin in Dralamar.
Oh, well.
Yeah, like none of these people have like any. I mean, they have power, but no power in Phandalin.
Correct. So Dralamar is a city-state. Phandalin is effectively frontier. It at one point fell under Dralamar's purview, but until recently, from 500 years ago when it was raised by orcs, to less than a decade ago when people kind of learned about the lost mine and started heading out this way heading out that way to try and find it again. The town basically didn't exist and was forgotten about. At this point, having a population of less than 100 or so, until the actual discovery of the mine, or until it was advertised that the rock seekers were close to finding the mine, nobody cared about Phandalin. But now obviously that's changed. Even though Dralamar itself doesn't have a stake in the mine, it's in their backyard, and so it's in their interest to maybe lay some claim on the town itself.
Well, isn't that why they sent the military to help?
Yeah, I mean, Ulrich basically asked, but him going along in the first place was kind of on behalf of Dralamar, right? So he's indirectly responsible for Dralamar's increased interest in Phandalin. And the mine
Alright, so what are we doing then?
Remember, the mine itself is not, while the mine is a very rich source of ore and gems, it's really the magical font of power within, and the Spellforge, which is missing, and the font is of course mostly tapped, that people were more interested in. So I think now that people have sort of learned that it no longer exists or is not within the mine, the interest is reduced, but commitments have already been made. So what do you guys want to do?
Okay.
Are we excited?
Well, now we just need to understand what we want as a whole.
So Scribble's willing to do it. What he wants is Hallia's debt.
Ah,
Oh, wow.
Hmm. I mean, coin's gonna come easy. So I like this.
Lunali is willing to do it, but what she wants is information about the missing Genasi.
because it doesn't involve harming others. It's just gathering information harmlessly. Rogar's in, but his I guess demand would be insurance, that we wouldn't have to owe them anything. That this would just be like a kind of a one-time thing.
All right. What about Louis and Nor? Else?
I mean, any info about Cauldron Alora would be great too, but I'd be pretty satisfied with those things.
And I'm here for my friend Scribble. So
All right. Well, so if you guys are ready, you can proceed to call Dresden back in.
I'm a
Yeah,
simple
Rogar will
man.
head to the door.
As you approach the door, you can tell he was waiting at it because he opens it. So are we ready to strike a deal? Or, do my friends and I leave for now and try to convince you again later?
Oh. I didn't realize it was an option.
What?
I think we are ready.
Good. He walks back in, and the rest of them file in behind him. He just sort of stands in the middle of the space here, while the rest of them slowly spread out around the room, taking up somewhat casual positions, but at least half of them look quite nervous. Dresden, however, remains calm. So, let's hear it. Your price.
My price is simple. It's information. There's a great deal of Genasi who have gone missing in this city.
His mouth sort of falls open just a bit, as like he's going to say something but doesn't really know what to say, and he starts nodding slowly. All right, well, this will take time, but at least you're not saying no. Is that all?
From me, yes.
So, information on plain-touched folk going missing. Alright, I might have something on that for you. You heard of the Crimson Order?
I'm assuming that's the red-robed wizards?
Yes. Slippery bunch. They show up from time to time. They've been seen in the city recently. Assuming we have a deal, I have a location for you. It'll be dangerous. You'll get no more help from me on this matter, but I have an idea of where they are. What else?
Insurance. That once we do this job, we aren't to owe your employers or anything, or won't be asked for other jobs of unfriendly nature.
He smiles. We have a deal on that. That's easy enough. You don't need anything, so you're in no real danger of one of my employers offering you something in trade for a favor in the future. No, the intent of paying you for this is that we would be even when it's done. What else? He kind of looks around the group, getting a feeling that everybody's going to ask for something.
I want Hallia's debt.
He kind of looks at you and mouths some words that don't come out with sound. That's going to be difficult. And
You did say anything.
I did. But that is also not mine to give.
Then you shouldn't have offered us anything we asked for.
I said name your price. Although, to be fair, some things are not paid in coin. I will, good Kenku, ask on your behalf and bring you an answer by the end of the day.
Then I went to mimic back Silas's voice where he said, "Name your price," and I assure you I won't say no.
What was the conversation there?
That he was wanting us to. That was all over the Gundren thing.
Right. Dresden smiles. This one looks genuine. You've got me there. All right. Well, by sundown, I'll have an answer back to you. Anything else?
Do you know this man, Keldren Eloro? We are looking for him.
The name's not familiar to me. You must.
Can she insight check him?
You absolutely can. Yeah. I mean, your 5 beats his 2. He's not being deceptive at all. As far as you can tell, he's being honest. There was what looked like a genuine look of confusion on his face. He just says he must not do business in the same circles.
In other words, he's not a criminal.
Deckard, by sundown, you can get us some information about his whereabouts as well.
Is that Wee Ray reporting from the deck outside?
I love it.
Maybe.
I'll see what I can do, but if he's not well known in this city, I cannot make a promise on that. He looks to Noro.
Noro's just gonna be like, I'm not much for talking.
$1 million.
1 million.
I could really go for an ale right now. Done.
I'm just gonna say, I hope what Rogar has mentioned, is what has been asked. Or I guess Noro just makes a promise we'll come find you.
All right. Anything else before I go? Oh, the trinket, keep it. Or give it back. I don't really care. If you keep it and you meet with him before this is settled, you have my word we will do what we can to compensate you afterwards. If you do not feel comfortable with it, hand it back to me until we settle on this. Your choice. Just keep it hidden. Bag of holding or something similar should do.
I hand it back to him.
Alright, he takes it from you. Tucks it away in a small pouch. And if your detect magic is still going, it winks out of sight as he does. Right, well, I have a difficult thing to ask of someone who I do not particularly enjoy speaking to. I'll be in touch. He turns and leaves, unless you have anything else you want to ask him.
Roger will hold up his hand in front of him, just non-menacingly. Will we once this is done, will we be able to contact you to let you know that we've, I guess, done our part?
Oh, I'll know.
There's information that I'd like to ask, but I'd like to try finding the information out beforehand.
He kind of looks at you and he says, "Well, I offered half up front and half on delivery. The half on delivery will be the debt cancelled, if that's even allowed. The information is hardly half by comparison. Just ask."
Do you know anything, or does your employer know anything about liquid green fire that can raise the dead?
Make an insight check.
Son of a bitch!
With advantage, because you are very close and you're watching him, and yeah, it's good enough. No, it's good enough. He's really not trying to be deceptive at all. He gets quiet. His eyes go wide just for a second, and then he composes himself. I'll see what I can find. And he turns and leaves quickly.
So literally nothing up front then, Dresden. Thank you!
He calls back over his shoulder, "End of the day!"
Doesn't mean up front, but okay.
To be fair, we gave him back the trinket. We have not yet agreed to anything.
This is true.
Yeah, you get the feeling that you'll get your information as part of the half up front. All right. So you are left in an empty tavern. It's eerily quiet in here. Dust motes float through the air and the light that streams through the windows. After a couple of minutes, the barkeep, you see the door just slowly, and a head peeks around it, and it's the barkeep. "Right then, I was told I could have me pub back."
Mon Dieu, I am starving. Can we get some breakfast in here?
Right away. Good. Come on, lads, come on. He waves at a few folk behind him, and they all come shuffling back in. A couple of barmaids and a couple other folk. Yeah, and before long there is breakfast, some sausages, egg, stale toast, warm ale if any of you so desire.
Breakfast brew?
Yeah, breakfast brew.
Breakfast brow. Nice.
Yep. Morning brow. And so you are left to the rest of your day here. I'm going to take us off the battle map and put us on the city map of Dralamar. God, if there is one thing I do to this map, it's going to be make it friggin' darker. It is so bright.
Well, it's the background that's bright, isn't it?
Even zoomed in. Yeah, even zoomed in, it's still... Yeah, I need to take it down, 5-10% there. 20%. Anyway. You are left to figure out what to do with the remains of your day. Scribble, you have a good idea. You were, I think, given some direction to where Lysaren's shop of sorts is. It's not actually a shop. It's his residence, but he does run a small business out of it. No sign on the door or nothing. The circles he travels in and the people that he deals with, they know who he is. He runs effectively a private business out of his home as a broker of magical curiosities for the rich. And he is in one of the sort of lower parts of Aspirant's Rise, in the north part of the main city proper. You've got a couple folk you could look in on if you wanted some information on what's been happening recently, or if you needed perhaps a safe place to stay that was, away from spying eyes. I would imagine at this point, the rest of you may not really know how to set your comfort level, but Scribble, you would perhaps be a little weirded out that A, people found you so quickly, and B, that you're being watched in your own town. It's up to you, but you might consider trying to find a place to, a safe place to lie low, just in case. You've got a couple of contacts. You just tell me who, and I can lead you there. Both of them are in the Market District or near Gloomlight Alley. And then I know that Lunalio is looking for a leather worker.
Well, I'm pretty sure the guy will, because he can handle the dragon parts and point us to somebody that can work with it.
So maybe Lysaran is your next stop. I'll let you guys decide. There are
either
also
Lysaran or one of his contacts.
There are various inns and shops around the city, and a few things to see, places to go, perhaps a job board. Go find a street fight, get in trouble, kind of do anything you want. You tell me, and I'll make it happen.
I think we should probably go and find Lysaran first.
Seems like a good idea before the dragon bits go bad.
Yeah. Also, he might have some information about the goings-on of the city and stuff like that Anyway.
Alrighty. Well, you finish up. Sorry, you want to say something, RF?
Ignis, do we know his location?
Went through a portal last we saw, so I don't think so.
Yeah,
I can contact him.
He used a very familiar looking stone to open a portal seemingly to the elemental plane of fire and step through. But he did leave a sending stone with Lunalia.
I believe I have 2 sending stones.
The other one is
yes.
The information broker, I think. I
Mm-hmm.
think, yeah. Severin Thrace.
Yes, I can contact Ignis if we need to. Maybe find out if he's in the city.
He could potentially be an ally to us in the search for Caldron Alaro, oui?
I believe so.
Maybe we wait and do that after we find some more information.
Yes, as well as maybe a place to hole up.
Oui, this place is fascinating, but I do not want to spend another night here.
I think I can find us a place to stay.
Well, then let's be off, shall we?
As you set out from the spill, I'm assuming towards the south gate, or your choice is portside or south. Portside would take you along the docks. South gate is a little bit more of a direct route towards Aspirant's Rise through the Market District. Your choice. And Scribble, you'd probably be the one leading, given you're really the only one that knows your way around here.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the map. Looks like the Aspirant's Rise there's like an entrance from the north side from the docks?
Yeah, no, I mean, there's what you see here are like large blocks, but within them are many, many, many small city blocks. To give you an idea of how big the market district is, like outside the walls of the city, you can see, kind of to scale, patches of farmland. The market district is quite big. You're talking several city blocks across, and there's a large plaza in the middle with with open tents, vendor stalls and whatnot. So it's not just like a single block of buildings. That's, I've drawn the very, very, very major roads through, but there are alleyways and narrow cobbled streets and whatnot, with buildings of varying heights around them and small plazas and little parks and open areas. If anybody's ever played The Witcher 3, Novigrad is a fantastic medieval city that just feels very, very real. And this is kind of a little bit of a knockoff of that.
Oh. I have not.
Highly recommend. Very, very good game. It just a fantastic, sandbox feel too. Anytime I want like visual inspiration for, medieval fantasy, I go play that and just have a look around. It's really cool.
I would say we go the north side.
All right. Scribble leads you through the spill. Muddy streets and quickly built homes and businesses, of lumber and timber give way to older houses of cobble and stone as you pass through the open portside gate. Before you reach the docks themselves and the promenade that leads around the cove, you notice a rather humble-looking chapel just here. This small triangular block of varying buildings and homes. Scribble and Noro, the two of you would recognize it as the Temple of the Silver Path. A very, very humble chapel where you met a Deebs Darkbeard not too long ago. You might reminisce a bit about your time spent there hiding from the city guard after a brief chase. As you pass
Remember this place, Noro?
I'm shedding a tear right now. Just reminiscing.
This is where we first met Deebs.
Who?
Exactly. For Louis. What?
Well, Louis met him. Weren't we all up having a conversation with Deebs just last time we played?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. True. So I just kind of whisper, this is where it all began. And I kind of look off into the distance towards the mountains where I came from. Lost in that.
So should we head to Espérance Rise?
Yes, let's go.
Nora, as you're reminiscing, you can't help but think you see a strange in the shaded parts of the street, below the buildings about you, you can't help but think you see a bit of moonlight shimmer off the cobbled stone of the street, lighting your path. Just for a second, and then it fades as you pass the temple. As the group follows the promenade around the bay, several tall ships sit at dock. Various boxes and crates being loaded or unloaded. The sound of swearing dock workers and then the cry of gulls fills your ears. The slap of water against the docks. Making your way north past the docks district, you pass large warehouses, massive cranes set up to help load and unload the ships. Several taverns. One of them, Lunalia, you're reminded of one from a city far to the south, made from the hull of an old derelict ship, lifted up onto the street side. Seems to be a popular thing in port towns. Nearing the northern end of the bay, Scribble, you duck into a narrow side street that leads to a stone path that rises quickly up into the rise. Arches in the side of the path reveal buildings carved into the side of the cliff. And as you begin the climb, I think we're going to take just a quick break. And be back in 5 minutes if you guys are okay with that.
Yep, sounds good.
Yep, I'm gonna grab some water.
Be right back.
Weaver, are you moving around your apartment?
We are back a little bit longer than 5 minutes there for a little bit off-topic chat and a little bit on-topic chat. The party makes their way up a long and winding incline, a cobble-paved wide stone street leads up into Aspirant's Rise as the buildings around you change from the lower middle class of the residences around the edges of the docks district, buildings of cobbled stone that lean slightly from decades of age, doorways and windows, some in states of disrepair, the faint smell of piss coming from narrow side streets and alleyways, pools of unidentifiable liquid here and there on the streets, and stray dogs running here and there, beggars and panhandlers, and as you move into the Rise, the buildings get taller. You see marble and granite and other types of stone, adorning these buildings. Some of them with small fenced gardens about them. Small plazas, lush green with trees and flowers, flowering bushes that are sculpted intricately, perhaps by druids that have come to the city to work their craft. Further into the Rise, larger courtyards, fountains, nobles that gather for quiet conversations in open cobbled plazas. The view from here is stunning. The higher into the Rise you go, the more of the city you can see. Even getting to a point where you can see over the city's walls as the Rise lifts above by 50 feet or so, and the massive towering wall that surrounds the city, keeping it safe, falls away below you. You can see the countryside, rolling plains of amber grain, falling into verdant forests off in the distance to the east. The River Drall snakes away from you, cutting a blazing blue path through the forests. Turning the other way, looking out over Prosper Bay, the afternoon sun glitters off the water, shining bright, lighting your faces. The cry of gulls in the distance and the smell of fresh sea salt tickles your nose. Off in the distance, a thin sliver of land, the Isle of Lyria, upon which several nations sit. Scribble, you lead the group into a narrower street that winds about through tall townhouses owned perhaps by wealthy merchants and lesser nobles. And you come to a place where the directions you were given lead you. On the corner of one building that looks very much like many of the others, perhaps a building with multiple residences in it, at street level there is I wouldn't say a storefront perhaps, but what looks like a living area that has been converted to a meeting space. You see through the open windows, curtains drawn back, a small room with a single table, some chairs around it, a small counter looking almost like something you'd see in a shop, but no merchandise to be seen anywhere within. A door leads to perhaps the rest of the residence beyond it. The door leading in is nondescript, unmarked, but this definitely fits the description of Lissarin's home and place of business. There doesn't seem to be anyone in the space that you can see through the open, the windows that are open. The door appears to be unlocked.
I think this is the spot that we're looking for. I'll just open the door and head on in.
Linelia, with your passive perception, You are aware of a figure following you. You've been aware of them for a good 30 minutes or so.
They followed us all through the docks district.
You've been aware of them for the last half hour or so, and I'd say it probably took you at least twice that long to get here from the spill. But yeah, it's the same person. At first you put it out of your mind, but the third time you saw them, you made a note, and saw them twice more after that. Usually not looking your direction, but it's the same person every time. A very, very nondescript, middle-aged man with mid-length hair, wavy. No real identifying marks or anything. Dressed like a commoner, but wearing a cloak and a short sword at his side. Perhaps a mercenary or a traveler.
And how far away are they from us?
Every time you catch sight of him, he is a block away or more. And every time you catch sight of him, he's having a chat with, with somebody street side, or standing in front of a small, vendor's cart, buying a bit of produce, leaned up against the side of a building, chewing on a twig. But it's the same guy every time. And every time you see him, he's acting casual. But he keeps acting casual about a block away from you as you move through the city. And here you are, and you catch sight of him again about a block away. He's tossing a coin to a
Witcher.
yeah. He's fuck you. God damn it.
Sorry.
He's tossing a coin to a panhandler, and at that you see one of the city guards approaching and shooing the man away, shooing the vagrant away. The man just turns and wanders off.
So we're all gonna head inside the shop, I'm assuming?
I mean, is there anything else that we need to do around the city that we do at the same time, or should we all go in? Does the building look big enough that it can hold all 5 of us?
Well,
Yes.
Lunalia is gonna pull Rogar aside just as we're entering and say, there's somebody that's been following us for about half an hour now. He is still keeping an eye on us. So while we all go in, I will shapeshift and then come back out, just to keep an eye on him for the next 5 to 10 minutes.
All right.
Yeah, Ice. The the little coffee shop down the street.
Uh-huh.
It's like that. Maybe about half that size. Yeah, just think like, it's an older building, that maybe has residences on the, or maybe a single residence on the upper floors, and it's cozy in with a bunch of other buildings on a city block, narrow streets around it, and on the corner, ground level, there is it's almost a storefront, like a small shop, the type of shop that you'd walk into that would have like, a couple of shelves of things on the walls and a little counter at the back, except here there's just a table and some chairs around it and that counter, but there's no display cases or anything. It's just an empty room.
Got it. Okay.
You might not want to leave when you're the one with all the stuff.
What stuff?
Like, you've got the bag of Colding with all the dragon stuff.
Oh, she'll just hand that over. It's only for 5 minutes. She's not going anywhere. She's just going to sit on the wall outside.
Okay.
So yeah, once everyone has stepped inside, she's going to shapeshift into a... let's just go with a dog. We've seen a bunch of dogs in the dog district, haven't we?
Yeah, you would see a bunch of dogs in the dog district.
In the dock district.
Yes, yeah, there are, you've seen a couple of packs of, 3 or 4 wild dogs running through the streets.
Yep. So that's she'll shapeshift into a dog and just sit outside, like literally just outside the door.
Okay. Scribble,
Just to keep an eye on the guy.
as you open the door, Scribble, there is a pleasant sounding chime that seems to come from everywhere and nowhere at once around you, and it fills the space. Not more than 5 seconds later, the door from the back opens. You see a slender high elf of indeterminate age. He looks both old and young at the same time. Delicate features, shoulder-length dirty blonde hair that starts at a high widow's peak and falls down around his shoulders with a bit of a wave to it. He wears a long gray long coat, and he has a monocle that reflects just a slight rainbow sheen. Can I help you? He looks at all of you with a confused look on his face, like he wasn't expecting you.
We're very sorry that if we've bothered you at all. We've been told we can come here to sell, I guess, more exotic parts.
A slight smile creeps across his face, and he says, "Your looks belie your manners, sir. Yes, come in. Tell me, how do you know about me?"
We were told about your shop from a friend of ours. I don't remember his last name, but he's a wizardy fellow named Paramon.
An eyebrow raises slightly. Indeed. I've not heard from him in some time. A moment, please. And he turns sort of sideways to you and whispers quietly. Nods. Again, smiles. Turns back. So you were. Yes, please come in and make yourselves at home. I'll bring some tea. Anything else? You, sir, and he looks at Noro. Ale, perhaps?
Nods, yes. And I take a whiff of my lavender necklace that Linalia made me.
Strange. I'll be back. He disappears through the door and returns a few minutes later, as you all... Yep.
Lunalia would have only been outside for about 5 minutes. In that time, has she seen the guy again?
Yes. Once more, you see him just sort of, again, a block away, on a cross street, wanders by, hands in pockets, and just risks a glance in your direction, and seeing no one, he looks a little bit longer, and then he turns and starts walking your way.
So, Lunalia is going to woo woo woo, and then she'll go inside.
He stops and watches as you turn and go inside. You can see he's kind of watching you, and then he just shakes his head and keeps walking. Walks past the building, and as you go inside, are you just?
Once I'm out of his line of sight, she will drop her dog form.
Okay. He
And
walks
just
past the
tell the
building
others.
and on down the street.
We are definitely being followed.
When you drop your shapeshift, what form are you back in?
My wild elf form. I have my hat on.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't take more than a Wouldn't take more than a turn to
Action.
reactivate it.
Okay, I just wasn't sure.
Yeah, she looks like her mom. Not that any of you know her.
No, because she dead. Or is
Yeah.
she? No, she dead.
No,
But-
she's dead. I saw the
Um,
body. She's dead.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, you saw the body. The tall, elven man comes back through the doorway. Nothing in his hands, but a large platter, a large ornate silver platter with several cups of tea, and balanced in the middle, a large glass mug of ale. A beautifully sculpted crystal mug, actually, beautifully cut crystal mug of ale.
Fancy.
Carried by a spectral hand. The hand delivers the platter to the middle of the table, sinking through the table and disappearing. Please, sit. Make yourselves at home. I'm Lasaran, broker of sorts of... well, things that you... He looks around all of you with a little bit of a look of disdain. Likely wouldn't afford. But nonetheless, friends of Paramount are friends of mine. Welcome to my home. So let us speak plainly. What is it you've brought me?
We've brought you a Draconis Fundamentus? Fundamentum?
His nose wrinkles a bit as he looks at the Dragonborn, stumbling over the words that describe a part of it, cousin, basically.
Right.
Draconis Fundamentum. Yes, you have one.
Yes,
What-
it's from a white dragon. Between
Surely not an ancient, by the
No,
looks of you.
unfortunately. It was between a young and an adult.
Good, saleable. How old? How long since the kill, and has it been kept cold?
It has been kept cold in the bag of colding, right?
Yes.
About 5 days. 4, I think.
Reaching the end of its usefulness, but still saleable. Good. What else do you have?
We have. I think we have some dragon blood as well. I don't know what all Louis wants to hold on to.
I
Yeah,
thought
like
we
a-
already put aside what he wanted.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I know he took 15 of the fangs.
Yeah, for his tokens.
So my list says that we have 2 horns, a heart, and 6 claws left.
We have 2 jars, I think, of blood.
Yeah, I think he'd collected two pints of its blood as well.
So yeah, unless we're intending on keeping any of that stuff, should we just sell everything?
Yeah, I mean, I've already taken out what I needed. I made Noro's necklace with the 2 claws, and she kept 2 teeth? So
Yeah,
anything that's left
sounds
is fine
about
to sell.
So 6 claws. I think we used up all the teeth. A heart, 2 horns, 8 spines, 7 spines. Because I think Louis wanted to use a spine for the pipe.
Yeah, we're gonna use all the spines,
Use all of them. Okay.
all the ones that we harvested. So yeah, 2 horns, a heart, 6 claws, and 2 pints of blood.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Okay, so all of that then.
Alrighty.
Sorry, is the heart separate from the Draconis Fundamentum?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the Draconis Fundamentum is the source of its dragon's breath.
Right.
The heart is the source of its love.
Life? Right, so we have one of each.
You proceed to talk him through the parts, as well as, revealing some of them from the bag of colding.
Yeah, anything that's like non-perishable, like the claws, the horns, and everything.
He whispers an arcane cantrip and slides his hand over the surface of the table. It shimmers with a magical sheen, and you notice that any of the bits of gore that splatter on it dissipate shortly after they touch it.
Ah, a magical drop cloth.
Did we lose somebody from the channel?
Nope,
No,
right.
we just got Brian.
Why is Brian the D&D campaign channel?
Oh, sorry.
You're on Twitch,
Okay.
Brian. Say hi to everybody.
Hello.
Hi,
Bye.
Bri.
And goodbye.
Fucking asshole.
Yeah, I forgot he's an admin and can see the hidden channel.
Yeah.
I wonder if we can get the name of the channel changed to D&D campaign No Bries Allowed.
Sure, it's fine.
Have to ask Deebs.
So yeah, we put everything on the counter that we're going to sell.
He inspects it all, adjusting his monocle from time to time, and you see a bit of a magical shimmer in it as he does. He nods and mumbles to himself, almost as if taking mental notes. Well, an interesting haul you've brought me. I will need to contact some people. I believe I can find buyers for everything you've shown me here. Hopefully by the end of the day. The Fundamentum. It should fetch a price, depending on who's interested. Good. Well, is there anything else I can do for you while you're here?
Yes, there's a couple of other things. We have I think it was treated. I don't remember. We have I guess a roll of dragonhide that we were looking to make into armor for one of our companions.
I was hoping you could point us to a well-reputed leather worker.
There's a look crosses his face of annoyance, and his eyes narrow a bit, and he looks at you. I'm aware of a very skilled individual. He is strange. But I think you'll find his talents are suited to what you're asking for.
I'm used to strange.
Yes.
Where can
well,
we find this individual?
the northeast corner of the market district. He has a small shop, a workshop of sorts. Much like mine, no sign above the door. And I won't RP it out, but he gives you directions. Don't mind him if he tells you nothing's for sale. Everything is. Everything has a price. And do tell him that I sent you his way. I doubt he would help you if not otherwise. Anything else?
There was something else we were going to ask.
Do you happen to know this wizard, Caldren Aloro?
Tell me, good sir, how is Flane these days? Your accent gives you away.
I have not been there now in a few months, but when I left it was beautiful as always.
Ah.
Have you been?
It's been far too long, but I enjoyed many a summer there. The mountains this time of year are particularly beautiful.
Insight check.
Do feel free to.
The mountains are beautiful.
Yeah, as far as you can tell, he really digs it there. But, you know, like, Flane is well known being, a rich people's vacation spot. It's a very, very chill, very laid-back city.
Sounds like Vermont.
Yeah. Kind of like, yeah. I got a picture of it somewhere on the website. I think it's, oh, let's look it up here.
I think I turned it into the Alps, actually, with, be they Swiss or French.
Yeah, it's very, very much an Alp city. Yeah, you know, oh, I don't know if I can image here, but, yeah, it looks a little something like that. That's the official artwork of Flame. Can I paste that in the chat? Nope.
Hey, Ken.
No, I meant in the Roll20 chat.
Oh.
Yeah, it wouldn't go. That's okay. Oh yeah, yours is better. I had the picture highlighted when I snipped it. Cool. Yeah, it's you know, surrounded by idyllic landscape, towering mountains, snow-capped even in the summer. It's just a beautiful city, very, very sort of laid back. Libraries and places of learning and very laid back people. Yes, I know Master Aloro. It has been a while since I've seen him. In fact, he was absent at a recent gathering where he would normally have attended. I found it strange, but I've known him to be a busy man. So
How long ago was this?
a month, perhaps?
Does he have a residence in the city?
You are friends of a friend of mine, as he has confirmed. He kind of smiles as he says that, and Louis, you would have recognized him casting a Ascending spell a bit earlier, that you were friends of Paramon's.
Well, I didn't think he was talking to himself when he was nodding.
Yeah, and you know, the pleased look on his face would have been, you know, hearing the voice of an old friend he hadn't heard in a couple of years. He says, you are friends of a friend, but I must help guard the secrets of those I know. May I ask why you're inquiring about Master Aloro?
He and my father knew each other some time ago. They worked together, I believe.
So you're looking to reconnect with him?
I have some questions for him, yes.
I am insight checking you.
She's not lying.
No, she's not. He looks at you, his eyes narrow, and you can tell that he senses there's more to your story. What kind of questions? Exactly.
it seems as though Monsieur Leroux has the spell book of our mutual acquaintance, Peremont, and has been resisting contact, and so we are trying to help our friend by tracking him down.
We're also worried for his safety.
Are you actually worried for his safety, or?
Rogard's saying that sincerely.
Okay, fair enough.
Yes. Others that have worked with my father have. Some danger has befallen them.
Oh dear. Well, Master Aloro is one I'd thought to contact regarding the Draconis Fundamentum. Perhaps that would interest him enough to reach out.
Well then, give me his digits.
Boop, 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 boop.
He gets very, very serious for a minute and says, I must warn you, if you bear any ill intentions towards him, I will not stand for it. There will be no violence in my home. I will not be involved with anything beneath the law. You don't need to roll an insight check to get the feeling that he's not talking about you.
Huh?
Get the feeling that when he says he won't be involved in anything beneath the law, that he's not talking about a lot of you. So
Can Lunalia make a perception check?
Yeah. He's kind of alluding to perhaps Keldor Maloro being tied up in some less than legal shit. Oh, good lord,
Holy
29.
shit.
Lunalia is looking for any listening devices, any hiding places, any eyeballs moving behind picture frames. She wants to make sure it's just us and him in here.
As far as you can tell, the room is perfectly clean. And you didn't really notice this at first because you were paying more attention to the guy outside. But you think back to when you turned and walked into the building, you did not see your friends or this man standing inside. The room looked empty. And just now do you kind of realize that you glanced through the window and didn't see anybody, and then you walked in and there.
She'll mention this out loud to everyone. We are not inside the shop that is directly outside on the street, are we?
Oh, no, I assure you, you most definitely are. It's an enchantment on the windows. I prefer my meetings to be private. But I like my home to be well lit. He just smiles impassively.
Is it the same size?
Yeah, everything about it looks the same. It's just that Lunalia, briefly, glancing through the windows as she went in, didn't see anybody, but then as soon as she walked through the door, they were there. And it kind of didn't register until, has some time to mull it over.
I was just wondering if it was like the house where we talked to Silas.
Yeah, the windows are just enchanted to
Okay.
Yeah.
He got some tinted windows, yo.
Basically. Yeah, they just there's a picture glued onto the windows.
Yeah, I was gonna say he took a picture of the inside of his home. I just
It's just an illusion.
stuck him over the window.
It's a very, very simple illusory enchantment.
I feel like there was something else I wanted to ask him. Oh, yes. Do you happen to know of any I guess, fey creatures that prefer to be in a dragon form, or ones that may control other fey creatures.
He looks at you with a look of confusion on his face. I'm not sure what you're getting at. Perhaps you should just be out with it. What have you met? What have you seen?
There is a... When we talked to Paramon about it, he said that there was a green dragon that isn't a green dragon. It's an elven woman, fey thing. We unfortunately, I guess, made an enemy of her, and she's been sending fey creatures after us. But we don't know what she is. All we know is that she hunts and moves around primarily as a ancient green dragon.
Strange, but not entirely unheard of. You have anything else that might help me, were I to ask about or do some research?
She had long, long claws on her hands, like her nails were long or something. Her place of residence was
Is she in Wayragon Grove, or is that somewhere else?
Thunder Tree.
Yeah, Thunder Tree.
Oh, the ruins of Thunder Tree.
Yeah, the ruins of Thunder Tree.
She has the
I can
ability
just put
to.
up an illusion of her.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
easy.
She has the ability to get into people's minds and make them not themselves. I guess befuddle them would be the simplest term.
That is disturbing. And as he says that, the image of her springs to life in front of you. Wearing that long gown of almost bark. Shoulders arrayed with foliage, wild foliage. The long plume of almost feather-like hair. And the signature look of superiority on her face. I see. You are quite the illusionist. That is a stunning image. I don't suppose you by chance heard her name, or whatever she called herself. It would help.
Nalcendris.
Oh. Oh no, that is familiar. Where have I heard that name? I'll have to get back to you. Stay away from Thunder Tree. Stay far away. I think you might have enraged an Archfey.
Oh, wonderful.
I'm not certain. I have a friend who can confirm.
Well, we unfortunately have a friend who is very important to another task that we've been given, who might be in her grasps.
I think friend is a very strong word.
Acquaintance.
He's a component that we need.
Don't discount acquaintances. They can be the most useful of friends you have. Well,
And do not discount components as well. They are very important too.
Yes.
One final question for you. If you had to choose between taking a job for Silas the Red or Hammond Sam, who would you choose to work for?
Oh, Jesus.
Amazing, amazing. Making a couple rolls here. Wow. Well, I've never dealt directly with either of them. Can't imagine they'd be interested in anything I deal with, but
It's just a hypothetical question.
I'm sure it is. He gives you a very knowing look. I'd say you're in for an interesting time either way, but I would work for Sam, given the choice. He's a curious fellow. No one really knows anything about him. The chance to learn more about who he is and what he's up to would be worth something. Worth a lot, I would imagine. I might even pay a fair sum to learn more about him. Mind you, out of
Louis, write that
sheer
down.
curiosity. Let me ask you something. You said Master Allura refused summons. Is that correct? He refused Paramon's summons.
I believe the way Paramon said it, he tried sending a message magically and could feel that it went through, but there was no response.
He was, I believe, as they say, left on red.
Well, perhaps I'll speak to Paramon himself. Strange behavior from Master Allura. Not what I'm used to. Strange, troubling even. Well, is there anything else I can help you with? Any directions about the city? And he looks at Scribble, although I see you already have a guide. Perhaps a discreet exit.
Yes, I believe we are being monitored.
Well, there is an exit that is somewhat covert. It has its unique charms.
Oh god, he's gonna say the sewer.
He gives a very sort of weak smile.
So we can see out these windows onto the street?
Yes, you can.
Okay. She's gonna go and look out the window then.
Yeah, I'll let that 29 perception stand. You notice Buddy Guy following you walk down the street one more time. Very, very unassuming. Like, no one would pick this guy out of a crowd if it was the first time they saw him, but this is about the 7th time you've seen him.
Would I recognize him if she pointed him out as he passed by?
She would call everybody over to the window so that they all know who it is she's talking about.
Yeah,
that man right there.
Knowing that he can't see in, Scribble, it's the same guy that was watching you guys at the inn last night.
So not the one we talked to this morning.
No, but perhaps one of his goons.
Oh, okay. I'd just point out that he was watching us at the inn last night.
I wonder who he works for.
I mean, with
Could find out if you would like.
I mean,
Yeah.
we could just walk up and ask him.
I think you'll find in a city like this that someone's always watching you.
Unfortunately, I always feel like someone's watching me. Perhaps not as much with this hat on.
From over your shoulder, you hear Lasaran. He's quietly padded over to the window where you guys are all watching this guy walk down the street. I recommend you find a place safe where you can lie low. And he looks at Scribble and says, Do you have such a place? Not an inn, not a tavern, somewhere out of sight.
I think
am
I
not
know
hiding
someone I
in the
can
sewers.
contact.
Oh no, my dear, the sewers are far more dangerous than above ground. I'm simply offering them as a quick exit. There are unsavory types down there, and more.
Well, I mean, if he's following us, then maybe me and Scribble could leave out the front door, go somewhere with him following us, while the others go through the other exit.
I will not.
She knows better than to split the party.
I will not go into the sewers for any reason.
I'm sure it's fine. We can leave. Out the front door.
He looks around the party and his eyes settle on Louis. Do you have the means to contact me at range, or should I expect another visit in person?
I think that the best way would be to be here in person. So if you happen to know any good spells for contacting at range, I could be interested in those.
Would you accept a lesson or two as partial payment for what you've shown me?
Absolument.
He smiles softly. Well, it's been some time since I've had the opportunity to teach. The
And
college
this guy's
is
a half-elf?
he's a high elf. He says the colleges of Aurelia are a distance away, and it's been some decades since I had the opportunity to instruct. I'd be honored.
Wait a minute.
What?
Nothing. I'm musing to myself.
No, he used to teach. And that's where all the wizard schools are. Don't read too far into it.
Also, he hates dwarves.
He doesn't hate dwarves.
I have found that I enjoy very much being a constant student. I look forward to it.
Well then, I look forward to our next meeting. I'll contact you when I have word of Master Aloro's location. Perhaps I can set up a meeting. Let me ask, are the lot of you comfortable with meeting him face to face, or do you simply seek information on his whereabouts?
No, I would prefer to meet him face to face.
He nods and sort of seems to choose his next words carefully. I can arrange that, but I worry of everyone's intentions. Perhaps somewhere other than here would be better. Well, I will reach out, hopefully before the end of the day. He points at the bag of colding. Please do keep those safe. We have precious hours left on some of the components, the fundamentum, namely. Good. Well then, and he claps his hands. I hope you enjoyed your drink and your time here. It has been wonderful meeting you all. I hope to see you again soon. Thank you for bringing me some entertainment, I suppose I should say, in an otherwise boring year. Kind of edges out a bit of a smile. It's almost forced, but almost like he doesn't know entirely how to smile or just be relaxed around people. Well then, and he sort of points at the door.
Before we go, there's one last thing that I'd like to ask, just off the top of your head. Are you aware of any liquid fire that can raise the dead?
His eyes slowly go wide. What is it you speak of? And what have you seen?
Just, I guess, visions.
You've had
Where-
visions?
Not me, but a friend of ours, and I guess another person who is no longer with us.
As well as another individual who has talked about them secondhand.
Your words are disturbing to me, but I am curious. What you describe sounds like balefire, however, that is something that is only stuff of legends.
Well,
Nightmares.
we have a name to go on now.
Well, it seems I have more than one thing to find for you. Do you want to tell me more about these visions? Yeah, he has the look on his face has shifted to one of concern. What have you seen?
I suppose we could probably tell you everything. Would be beneficial for your business, I suppose. Or rather, our friend has seen a vision of, well, Dralamar. Not submerged, but this balefire moving through the streets and raising up countless dead. I believe he said it was snowing at the time, but he's had the same vision twice. Just a few tweaks here and there, but always the same balefire moving through the city streets and always raising the dead, and it always snowing.
He nods slowly, taking this all in. You all notice his demeanor has changed significantly, and he's now worried. Likely for his personal safety. See. Snowing, you said.
Yes. I mean, the reason why we're asking is we hope to stop it before it ever happens, or perhaps find out the source of it and slow it to give more of a chance. I mean, we don't want to just announce this to whoever's in charge of Dralamar and cause panic in the city, because we don't even know if we don't know if changing too much or preventing too much would just change its location. So this is just the most we have to go on.
Troubling indeed. And Paramon knows of this?
Yes, we've told Paramon.
Oh.
But he had limited access to books.
And And so he thought to send you to me. Well, I appreciate his wisdom. I don't think I'll be able to sleep again.
My apologies.
He looks at Lunalia, and there is just a weak smile on his face, like he's cracking a joke about because elves don't sleep.
Mm-hmm. She's just gonna tilt her head. Huh?
What do the legends say could create this balefire?
I don't know. That's what I intend to find out. I only know of it, not what it is. I've only heard of it. I didn't think it actually existed.
Is there any
Oh
libraries?
shit! I can't hear anybody anymore.
Bye.
Uh-oh.
Bye.
Is there any public libraries or anything that we could potentially go through to find any information on this, or is it more of a special kind of research?
Special is one way of putting it. Oh well, perhaps it is research you could do yourself. In any case, when I reach out to you again, I will have something for you. Either an answer or a direction. Soon, I think. Time may be of the essence. Although, you said snow, so we have some time. Yes, we have some time. Good, well then. Slightly less enchanting to have known you now, but thank you for the tidings nonetheless.
Again, apologies.
He forces a weak smile. Off you go then.
I guess we head out. Unless there's any other, oh, by the way, you're gonna die, comments.
Oh, by the way, one more thing before we leave.
Don't leave town. Yeah, Lunelia's gonna step out of the shop, and she's instantly gonna look for the dude.
You do not see him. You wait and wander and look for a bit, and you don't see him. Where are you guys going next? And what are you gonna do?
Well, I think we are going to follow Scribble to see if he can hook us up with a place.
Do we want to do
Probably
that
go to
first?
the market district.
Yeah, do we want to do that first, or do we want to head to the leather worker that he gave directions to make you that armor?
Scribble, it's kind of going to be the same way. The leather worker, sorry, I neglected to move your token. You guys were up around here. The leather worker is right around here, and you, both of your contacts would be around Gloomlight. This is also the market district, this area here by Market Gate. Sort of there's a rise at the back here where there are some of the wealthier merchant citizens live, and below it are some, shops and small factories and whatnot, and then the majority of the market district is over here, big open air, bazaar and shops and whatnot, armorers and smiths and leather workers and bakers and whatnot. Gloomlight Alley is named so because it gets very little sunlight. It sits down in a cut in between two rises. And And it's a pretty shady place. It's a Kenku kind of place. Borders on the market district, and then towering above it is sort of the lower terraces of Aspirant's Rise. One of your contacts has a small shop, sort of on the corner, and the other one has a very sort of unmarked location, but everybody knows him. Everybody who he needs to know knows who he is and knows where he's at. But they're both, right sort of on the edge of Gloomlight Alley. And the leather worker would be right here. The name given to you was Royald.
What time of day is it?
It's pushing mid-afternoon. You've got time.
Yeah, we can stop by Royal since it's right there. Unless someone else has something they... Is we right back?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, he's here.
Just making sure.
He's pretty good about saying something when he can't hear anybody for a while. We should all just, be quiet, just to mess with him.
Well, it happens sometimes, just in the, natural, pauses where nobody's sure of something or waiting for someone to talk. I'm like, oh, shit, did it go out? Oh, no, okay, there we go.
Is it your audio just cutting out randomly, or...?
It might be. It might have something to do with the fact, switching between, that sometimes it gets weird, but, yeah.
I guess I could ask, either a guard or Scribble, is there any churches to Bahamut in the city?
Yeah, so Scribble, you'd probably know that. One of the kind of weird things about, maybe not weird, but there is no, temple district, per se. Dawnlight Cathedral, obviously, visible from half of the city, is a massive tower with a huge, stained glass front. The morning sun shines through it and lights the White Bastion with rays of colored light in the mornings. That sits up on top of Castle Rock. There is the Temple of the Silver Path near the Portside Gate. There is, from what you know of, there is a small temple to Bahamut in the South Bank Commons. There are a few other temples spread throughout the city, but there isn't any sort of gathering of temples in one place. They're sort of throughout the city, scattered here and there. There is also something you've probably never been there. There's a temple in the Shaded Respite, which is a wooded the wooded slopes of the hill on the backside of Castle Rock. There is a small necropolis there where the city's dead are buried. There are various clerics that attend to the handling of the dead beneath the grove of trees there. So yes, there is a Temple of Bahamut in South Bank Commons. Right around here.
Alright then.
So, you make your way out of Aspirant's Rise, noting the contrast of architecture as you travel from one of the more affluent parts of the city back into the common areas. And as you near the market district, the sounds of street corner bards strumming lutes and lyres fills your ears. The sound of town criers yelling out news all about you. The hustle and bustle and the buzz of the general populace moving all about you from shop to shop. The clack of wagon wheel on stone and hoof on stone and grass. Just the various sounds and smells all about you. Roasting meats and spiced breads and all sorts of cooked goods, baked goods, fried goods all about you as you make your way into the market district. Scribble, you lead the group, again following the directions given you by Lasarin, to the northeast corner of the district, and ground floor there is a rather large stone and timber workshop that you find that fits the description of the place. Single story, but with a very high angled rooftop. The sound of carpentry comes from within. You hear the distinct sound of a blade ripping through wood, hammer and nail. As you approach, the front door, over large double doors stand open. And the smell of freshly cut wood fills your nostrils as you walk into the space. The light shines in through windows high up, lighting the room. The high ceilings, from which hang canoes and various other worked woods. There are chairs. Finely crafted wooden chairs, finished in a variety of dark hues. A massive table with an ornate carving of a lion's head in the middle of it stands in one side of the room. Various woodworking implements all over. Across one wall is leaned a variety of planks and whole logs of raw timber that have been brought in. And towards the back of the space, surrounded by various finished and unfinished projects, is a stout figure. Human at first glance, barely more than 5 foot tall, and thick, almost like a dwarf. He finishes the bit of work he's doing and turns, and the first thing you notice is intense blue eyes that just bore into you as he stares through you. A thick head of dark brown hair, bushy mustache. Can I help you? I mean, I'd rather not, but you're standing in my shop, so I suppose you need something.
I already forgot the guy's name. We were sent here.
Lasarin.
The other one. Maybe the guy we're talking to. We were sent here from Lasarin to talk to a leather worker.
The leather worker you speak with. The name's Roy.
Yeah, pleasure to meet you, Roy. We have dragon hide that we wish to turn into armor for our companion here.
And she'll pull out the big rolled up piece of dragon scale, dragon hide that she has.
Well, it has been some time since I've worked dragon scale, and never a white. I believe I would be up to
gloves.
I do believe I would be up to the challenge. He comes closer, and as he gets closer, you see his features are distinctly dwarvish. The overlarge nose, the heavy brow, the large chin, and the just stocky, thick arms. He's taller than any dwarf you've ever seen, and a little bit thin for a dwarf, perhaps a half-dwarf. He picks up the bundle of leather and scale. And I think I can do something with this. What is it you're looking for?
I don't know how often you've worked for or with druids, but I require something that's a little bit more durable than the hide that I normally wear. And so dragon scale is the next logical choice.
Answer me this. Do you eat meat?
Yes.
Good. I don't trust someone who doesn't eat what they kill.
In fact, we ate dragon that very night.
Excellent.
I might stock jerky left over if you'd like to try some.
Well, I do not make friends often, but an offering of food is a good start. He gives you a nod and a bit of a smile. There are only 3 ways to motivate people: money, fear, and hunger. You don't scare me, but I am hungry. And I do believe I would take your coin.
I tend to make fast friends with hungry people.
Well then, why don't you produce that jerky and we'll see where this goes.
Yeah, I guess
He kind of waves a hand around the shop. As you've noticed, there's no sign out front because this was not a shop. I work wood to relax, but people kept coming in and offering money for things I make, so this is now what I do.
Oh Jesus, I just realized who this is supposed to be.
I have no idea. I
Took
haven't
you that
figured it
long?
out.
Yeah, it took me that long, fucking Christ.
So tell me, and he looks back at Lunalia. A suit of armor?
Yes. Or a shirt, bracers, perhaps some leg guards.
Right. Well, you and I should talk. Hopefully not at length. Unless you can draw, in which case you can draw me a picture of what you like. I have some designs. I can show you. You can pick something from them, or draw something for me, or describe it. Again, hopefully not in too many words.
I mean, I can describe it to Scribble, and Scribble can draw it. Every time I've tried to draw something, I get laughed at.
Yeah, we don't have to RP it. Like, you basically, you can think about it for a bit and tell me what you want the armor to look like, or like next session or whenever the armor is ready, you can describe to the group what it looks like. He'll make you whatever you want. He looks over the leather and the scales. He asks you if there are any additional parts you have, any fangs, claws, horns, spines that you want to incorporate into it. And I'll let you figure all of that out on your own. And for the, like, I'm not going to make you waste any of the parts you've already got. You killed a whole fucking dragon and you got some pieces. Your armor can look like whatever you want it to look like. There will be a cost. I will have to look that up. It won't be ridiculous. Rogar, you offer him some of the remaining dried meat. He tries it, chews on it for a while, just kind of nods. This is good. I don't think I've had anybody bring me leather and the meat that wore it. This is good. Well, this will take a week or so. And he just stands.
all right.
He just stands there staring at you all, like he's waiting for you to leave, or he's waiting for more words, or whatever.
Excellent. I look forward to seeing your work.
Good. Well, come with me, and I'll show you what I've done for others. I have a few pieces left. He takes you to a smaller workshop in the back that he's clearly moved a lot of his stuff into. And shows you a variety of very ornate pieces of leather work, belts and straps. There's one full suit of studded leather armor that is just gorgeous. Like, go on Pinterest and find the prettiest looking cosplay armor you can find, and it's just like it's that. It's obviously not meant to even protect. It's just for show.
Right.
He shows you some more functional pieces, and then he has just a single arm guard of black dragon scale that he shows you, and it's beautifully worked. Like, clearly he knows what he's doing. As you look through some examples of what he's done in the past, he says, "It's been some time since I've worked leather, even longer since dragon scale, but this shouldn't be a problem. I actually make a living off carpentry now, since others have moved in on leather work. There's a fellow across the way that Kynan works leather but doesn't eat meat. Can you believe that?
No, that doesn't seem right.
I couldn't imagine skinning something and making a coat without eating the meat that once wore it. That's just disrespectful. Do you understand?"
Absolutely. I believe in using the entire animal.
Well, you'll leave this with me. He points at the dragon hide. I think I can make you something that you'll like. And
I very much look forward to it.
I'm just trying to get you a price here before we call it a night. I'm sure I've got it. Oh man, the bookmark was on my old machine.
Rip.
No, I mean the file's here. I just don't have a quick link to it anymore. Really? There it is. There's my books folder. Discerning Merchant's Price Guide. Let's see what a suit of dragon scale goes for. Well, I think I can put a price on this up front. Yes. Normally it would cost more, but since you've brought me the components, 3,500 gold pieces would cover the cost of crafting this armor. Again, normally it goes for quite a bit more.
She's just gonna look over at the group. Is that a lot?
Sorry, how much gold?
3,500.
I can split it with you if you want.
You guys haven't actually gotten the 10,000 gold reward yet for killing the dragon, right?
No, not yet.
It's on its way to Phandalin. In fact, you would have passed the people who had it on your way to Dralamar.
Could have robbed them.
Yes.
Well, I mean, it's like 30 guards, so... But, you know, they do have 11 hit points apiece, so yeah, you probably could have just one fireball and killed them all.
Yes, we definitely have that much money, just not on our person. But payment can definitely be made by the end of the week.
All right, well, you seem like a woman of your word. I suppose if you don't pay me, I can find someone else to buy this. You realize your material will be forfeit.
Of course. Why don't I give you 1,000 right now?
Oh, very well. So go ahead and mark off 1,000, and you owe 2,500. The going rate for this suit of armor is 15,000. So half and then half again.
Mm. Oh, my pouch feels remarkably light now.
You hand him the 1,000 gold, and he nods. He takes it without counting it. And just stands there staring at you.
Yes, well, I guess we'll be on our way then.
You might find out how long it's going to take.
He said a week. Didn't he?
Yeah,
I heard you say a week. I didn't hear him.
realistically, it's probably more than that, but I'm going to hand wave it so that you don't have to either stay in Dralamar forever or have to come back later for something.
All right. Well, where is our next stop then?
Now I think we should probably secure our place to rest tonight.
It's probably a good idea.
Agree.
All right. Scribble, I take it you lead the group into Gloomlight Alley.
Yeah, I would take him to Elisa.
Yeah. Elisa. Right. So, as the Kenku leads the rest of you out of the Market District, and I keep forgetting to move the pin, out of the Market District and into Gloomlight Alley, the late afternoon, early evening rays of the sun shine overhead, but do not quite make it down the wide at first street that splits into several narrowing streets in this part of town that you can tell doesn't always see a lot of light. The deeper you go, the taller the buildings and the terraces around you seem to rise. The darker it gets, to the point where there are occasional torches and lanterns set out. Here you see dark figures down alleyways. The occasional inhuman figure. You think a dog, maybe something else? You're not entirely sure. Lunalia, with your passive perception, at one point you think you see something about the size of a dog, maybe even bigger, with a long tail. Maybe a massive rat, you're not quite sure. A couple blocks down, disappear into the shadows. Scribble leads you to down a narrow street and to a very small shop that stands alone with a little yard in front of it. Just a bit of grass and cobble. The small wooden building has a sign above the door that has the word Curio carved into it. Rather ornate. Looks very much like Roy's work, in fact. Scribble, you begin to wonder if that's maybe where the sign came from. The building is tiny. Really only looks like a single room with perhaps a very small residence off the back. And as you Scribble, as you open the door, you hear the familiar bell ring. And your friend perks up from just a second here. Bring up some notes.
Sorry, I had to go AFK there for a second. Before we actually headed into the shop, she's going to do a look around to see if anybody's watching them.
Give me a perception check. Oh, geez. 20.
Yeah, it's not great.
Ooh. It is not great.
Not for me.
No, I know. You don't see anybody watching you. You don't notice any familiar figures following you. You're definitely out of your element here, and I would imagine that you probably aren't feeling very comfortable, especially in this part of the city.
She hates it.
It's very sort of, dense and dank and dark, and you've stepped in a couple of puddles of strange liquid, and there are things in the shadows that that shouldn't be there, and there are smells and sounds that you don't like.
Yeah, it's just too much civilization, too many people, not enough nature. She hates it.
As you enter the shop, the bell attached to the door rings softly. You see arrayed about you on densely packed shelves a variety of small trinkets. There are cases with rings and bracelets in them. At a distance, it looks like an array of fine jewelry, but up close, most of them are rather simple, rather plain, fairly mundane. Nothing particularly expensive. Scribble, you can't help but glance longingly at a tall shelf covered in carvings of small animals. Some of them cut crystal, others, fired clay or carved from wood. And perhaps others here might see where he gets his affinity for little things. Behind the counter is a rather short woman, slender. Her auburn hair is done up in a crown braid, freckled cheeks. She wears a well-tailored dress with a violet ribbon tied about the high collar and a fancy bow. She looks up at first, somewhat surprised that somebody would wander in this time of day, and then her face softens into a smile as she sees Scribble. Well, hello there. I haven't seen you in a while. And with friends? I've never seen you with friends. These are your friends, right?
Yes, they are. A lot has changed.
I can see that. Have you brought me anything?
So, a lot of the stuff I have, like when you say it's cheap, like the little ring that I found in the red brand that was like, I think 30 gold.
Mm-hmm.
That's expensive, right?
Yeah, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, yeah, that's fairly expensive. A skilled tradesman makes 2 gold a day. A standard laborer would make a gold a day. So 30 gold is like couple weeks of work. And obviously, like, a good chunk of what you make just goes to getting by. So that's that's $1,000 ring. In the context of what she's asking, like, she hasn't seen you in a while, and you would traditionally bring her little things you'd lifted from here and there, or little things you'd collected. Fitting in with the nature of this tchotchke shop, nothing in here is very expensive. Most of them are little handmade things from local artisans, or little found things, or little bits
Oh my God.
of like nice mismatched silverware, like
It's my favorite kind of shop.
obviously things that like Kenku, like Scribble, or perhaps Scribble himself have brought to her that they've quote unquote found. It's a curio shop. In fact, the name of the shop is Curio.
No, I was just looking through to see if I had anything in my inventory that was cheap.
And it is very much the it's very out of place. It's one of those shops that is this quaint little shop you find in a really shitty part of town. You look at it and go, why is this here? But it's very likely there because that's all the shopkeeper could afford.
This is one of the best shops I have ever been in.
I'm gonna pull out my frog and just put it on the counter.
It's made of gold, isn't it? With gems for eyes.
No, it's jade.
Made of jade with golden orbs for eyes.
Right. She just looks at it, her eyes go wide. Oh no, this is beautiful. Where did you find this?
It was actually in a cave.
Near
I found it on
here?
a dead guy.
I stabbed a guy and I took it from him. Near here?
Not too far from here. We found it on the way to Phandalin, where I found some work to deliver something.
She nods, and those of you with maybe a little bit higher wisdom can tell that she has no idea where that's at. But she smiles nonetheless as she picks up the frog and turns it over with delicate fingers, looking for maker's marks, of which she finds none. She sets it back on the counter. I don't know if I have enough coin to pay you for this.
No, this is it's rather expensive.
I can tell.
But
Oh.
I think it would look good in your shop.
She just kind of looks at you like she doesn't know what to do with it, or how to process what you're telling her. Do you want me to sell it for you? I don't understand.
No, Scribble's kind of feeling kind of awkward being back. Like, as we had talked, like, this is someone who has like done a lot for him.
Yeah, and she's kind of not sure how to process you coming back, and like you've clearly got like this cool looking staff and a fairly rugged look of looking travel companions with you, and you look like you've been through some shit and done a little bit of growing up, and she's kind of not sure what you're after. Because in the past you'd come here, with a little trinket or a bit of silverware or a bit or a bob or something off somebody's belt, something left on a table at a local shop or whatever, and she'd give you some coin for it or a bit of food or whatever she could spare. Are you giving this to me?
Yes. As a thank you for what you've done for me in the past.
She just looks up at you, and you can see tears in her eyes, and she just looks away. Can't make eye contact with you for a little bit. She's just holding the frog. She kind of nods quietly.
Nice.
This is going on a shelf and back. I'm never
I
selling
thought you
this.
would like it.
Please have a look around. If there's something you like, any of you, just take it. And she smiles warmly at Scribble.
Would you happen to have a place that we could stay for a couple days?
It's not much, but I have a room. I'd have to move some things around. Could use some help. And she looks at the big boys in the group.
I flex my pecs.
Oh. Do they do that all the time?
Yes, he has a condition.
It's terrifying.
No problem. Show me the room.
She takes you all in back. It's a very humble residence, 3 rooms total. One of the rooms is used for, looks like storage, a few extra bits from the shop, some personal bits of bits and bobs of stuff and clothing and whatnot. And to be brief, you help muscle some stuff around and make enough room where the 5 of you could probably find enough room to lay out your bed rolls on the floor and camp, as it were, in here.
Sweet. We got a safe spot, a safe house.
She Elisa comes up to Scribble kind of quietly and leans down. Are you in trouble? Is that why you want to stay here? I mean, you look like you could all afford a nice room at an inn.
There's someone watching us. We don't know who it is, and figure whatever inn we stayed at, it wouldn't be hard to find us.
Well, you can stay here as long as you like. I can't offer much, but stay as long as you'd like. Just, don't leave through the front door. She kind of glances towards a back entrance.
I know the door.
There is something in the way she said that, Scribble. There's a hint of warning. And you're not quite sure what it is.
Of the front door?
Yeah. You pick up on it. There's something you don't know about that she's warning you about in a roundabout's way.
Is there anything I could roll that would give me an idea of what she might be referring to, something about us being followed, or what?
Yeah, you can make an insight check, and you're not really. You can make an insight check with advantage because you know her and you know the area. And you're not really insight checking her so much as sort of insight checking the situation, the circumstances. Mm-hmm. It's a little weird for a shop like this to have lasted as long as it has in a part of town like this with as few customers as she gets. She always managed to have enough coin to buy whatever little trinket you'd lifted or found. And it really didn't click until you kind of got out into the wider world and saw a little bit more and got a feel for things. But now coming back here, it's really weird that she's been able to run this place for so long with just as few as little clientele in a bad location, and something doesn't quite add up. The kind of people that you've, dealt with in the past, that you've seen around here, whatever. Maybe there's more to it. Maybe she doesn't want you to see it. You ever see that video rental store in like a little strip mall that nobody ever goes into, and you're like, that's a front for something. That kind of vibe.
Over here, I get that vibe with those computer stores buy laptops for $50.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, there's no way they're staying alive. They can't even keep the lights on.
Yeah, and you literally never see anybody in there.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
All right, and I'll just kind of tell the group that we'll be safe here to stay for the night. And then explain that, we should use the back door.
And Noro seeing what the exchange between Scribble and the shopkeeper, I guess you can say Noro goes over, and like any friend of Scribble's friend of mine.
If you guys are okay with it, I think we could maybe end there with the party settling down for an evening, waiting for a couple of phone calls from a couple of people.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That'll give me a chance to put some things together, and maybe another battle map just in case. Don't ever feel bad that you avoided a fight or a confrontation. That is an alternative way of winning. And it's perfectly valid. I'm working on spending a little less time on building fights that may or may not happen. The battle map that I dredged up took me 30 seconds to Google. So
Nice.
yeah, don't feel like I'm building maps that don't get used. That happens sometimes. I do have a couple I've built that we never used, but I can use them later. Like I just have to teach myself to pretend it's somewhere else, and then that map's reusable. So.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, guys. I gotta get to bed. Early morning.
Night, Hummer.
Night, Hummer.
Good night, Elmer.
And good night, everybody, as we end the stream.